Hey there, fellow deep divers. Ready for a fascinating journey?
Absolutely.
Today we're diving into the intersection of wealth and spirituality.
Oh, interesting.
Those two worlds that seem so different,
Yeah.
but always kind of tugging at each other.
Pleasure.
Have you ever wondered what really matters?
Mm.
When we move on to the next stage of existence, well, our deep dive today might give you some food for thought. We're going to be looking at Allan Kardec's The Gospel According to the Spirit,
Okay.
which offers a spiritist perspective on this very topic.
It's intriguing. This tension between material riches and spiritual pursuits. It's not just a modern dilemma.
Right.
This is a theme that is echoed throughout history and across cultures.
Yeah.
It seems like humanity has always grappled with this question of how to balance our earthly desires with our yearning for something more.
It's like we're constantly trying to figure out which master to serve, right?
Yeah.
And speaking of masters, Kardec really hits the ground running with that powerful message from Jesus.
You cannot serve both God and mammon.
Wow.
Talk about a wake-up call.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying, look, you can't have it both ways.
Right.
You've got to choose what you're going to prioritize.
It's a stark reminder that our energy and attention are precious resources.
Absolutely.
Whatever we focus on grows.
Yeah.
If we're constantly preoccupied with accumulating wealth, striving for that next promotion,
Right.
or obsessing over material possessions, it can be really tough to cultivate those inner qualities
Yeah.
that are essential for spiritual growth.
And then there's that unforgettable image
Yes.
of the camel trying to squeeze through the eye of a needle.
Right.
That's got to be one of the most vivid metaphors ever
Yeah.
for the challenges that wealth can present on the spiritual path. I mean, talk about a tight squeeze.
Well, that imagery is certainly striking.
Right.
There's actually an interesting linguistic detail to consider.
Okay.
The word camel in that passage might be a mistranslation.
Of the original Hebrew word for rope.
Interesting.
So it's possible Jesus was actually using a more relatable analogy
Okay.
of trying to thread a thick rope through a needle.
Mm.
Still difficult, but not quite the impossible feat we often picture.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah.
It really highlights how translations and interpretations can shape our understanding of these teachings.
Right.
But hey, regardless of whether it's a camel or a rope, the message is pretty clear. The love of money can be a major obstacle on the spiritual path.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, what are some of the modern day idols or distractions that might be holding us back from our own spiritual progress?
Good question.
What are those things that we cling to so tightly that we might be missing out on something far more valuable?
That's a question worth pondering.
Yeah.
Are we overly attached to our smartphones,
Right.
our social media personas,
Mm-hmm.
or even the never-ending pursuit of likes and validation?
Yeah.
These things aren't inherently bad,
Right.
but when they become our primary focus, they can easily overshadow our spiritual aspirations.
Yeah.
It's all about finding that balance, right?
Totally. And speaking of balance, or maybe the lack thereof,
Okay.
Kardec highlights another powerful story that really makes you think.
Okay.
The parable of the rich man and Lazarus.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, this one really paints a stark contrast
Yeah.
between a life of luxury and a life of suffering.
Right.
And it's got some pretty profound implications
Okay.
for what happens after we shuffle off this mortal coil.
The rich man is living it up, surrounded by abundance.
Right.
But he completely ignores the plight of Lazarus, a beggar who's literally right outside his door.
Oh,
And you know what happens?
what?
After they die, their situations are completely reversed in the spirit world.
Oh, wow.
Now, according to Spiritism, the spirit world is where we go after our physical bodies die.
Okay.
It's like the next stage of our soul's journey.
Right.
And in the spirit world, the rich man finds himself in torment, while Lazarus is finally comforted.
Wow.
It's a stark reminder that our actions in this life have consequences
Yeah.
that extend far beyond our earthly existence.
Yeah. That story always sends chills down my spine.
Right.
It really makes you question whether we're sometimes so caught up in our own comfort and convenience
Yeah.
that we forget about those who are struggling.
Mm.
Do we turn a blind eye to the suffering around us, even in subtle ways?
It's a challenging question, but a crucial one to ask ourselves.
Yeah.
Do we truly embody compassion and empathy in our daily lives?
Right.
Or are we so absorbed in our own little bubbles
Yeah.
that we become oblivious to the needs of others?
Hey, so we've had some heavy stuff so far,
Yeah.
but let's shift gears now to a more hopeful example.
Okay.
The story of Zacchaeus, that wealthy tax collector who had a major change of heart. Now, this guy was rolling in dough,
Wow.
but something shifted within him
Yeah.
when he encountered Jesus.
Zacchaeus, realizing the error of his ways, repents for his past misdeeds and makes this radical pledge
Okay.
to give away half his wealth and make amends for any harm he's caused.
Wow.
It's a powerful example of how material wealth doesn't have to be a barrier to spiritual transformation.
Right.
In fact, it can be an opportunity for incredible growth.
And what's even more amazing is Jesus's reaction.
Ooh.
Salvation has come to this house.
Wow.
It's like Jesus is saying actions speak louder than words.
Right.
And Zacchaeus' genuine commitment to change was recognized and celebrated.
Yeah, this brings up an interesting point.
Yeah.
Could Zacchaeus' story be a blueprint for us today? I mean, how can we use our own resources,
Yeah.
whether it's money, time, or talents,
Right.
to make a positive impact on the world around us?
That's a great question.
And it leads us perfectly into another parable that Kardec highlights,
Okay.
the parable of the talents.
Okay.
This one really gets to the heart of how we use what we're given.
Yeah.
And it's not just about money. It's about recognizing and utilizing our unique gifts and abilities, whatever those may be.
Mm.
In this parable, a master entrusts his servants with varying amounts of talents.
Okay.
Think of them as ancient units of currency. Two of the servants, the savvy investors,
Right.
take their talents and multiply them,
Yeah.
showing initiative and responsibility.
Right.
But the third servant, well, he gets a little spooked. He buries his talent out of fear,
Oh, wow.
basically doing nothing with it.
And when the master returns, you can guess who's in trouble, right?
Yeah,
It's not the servant who lost money.
right.
It's the one who did absolutely nothing with what he was given.
Hmm.
This parable isn't just about financial investments.
No,
It's a powerful metaphor for how we approach life itself.
for sure.
Are we burying our potential out of fear or inertia?
Hmm.
Or are we actively using our talents to grow, learn, and contribute to the world around us?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this leads us to a fascinating question that Kardec raises. What if these talents represent more than just money?
Interesting.
What if they symbolize our unique skills, our time, our capacity for kindness and compassion?
Right.
Suddenly this parable becomes even more relevant to our everyday lives.
I love that. Like, we all have this incredible portfolio of talents,
Yeah.
and it's up to us to figure out how to invest them wisely.
Uh-huh.
And speaking of investments,
Yeah.
let's shift gears now to one of the most intriguing aspects of Kardec's Spiritist perspective,
Okay.
the idea of true ownership.
Hmm.
This really gets to the heart of what we carry with us
Yeah.
when we transition to the spirit world.
Okay.
And it might not be what you think.
Kardec dives into this idea that material possessions are,
Mm-hmm.
by their very nature,
Yeah.
temporary.
Right.
They're like those trendy gadgets that become obsolete after a few years.
Hmm.
But what about knowledge?
Right.
What about moral qualities like kindness, compassion, and wisdom?
Yes.
These are the treasures that endure, the riches that we carry with us into the spirit world.
It's like we're packing for this epic journey.
Yeah.
But instead of filling our suitcases with clothes and souvenirs,
Right.
we're focused on cultivating those inner qualities that will truly enrich our souls. And here's where it gets really mind-blowing.
Okay.
Kardec suggests that a humble laborer
Uh-huh.
who lived a life of virtue and compassion
Right.
could be richer in the spirit world than an earthly king who hoarded wealth and neglected his moral development.
It's a radical notion
Yeah,
that challenges our conventional ideas about success and worth.
right.
It makes you wonder,
Mhm.
what truly defines a rich life?
Right.
Is it the size of our bank account or the depth of our character?
Yeah.
The number of possessions we accumulate or the quality of our relationships?
It's a total paradigm shift.
Yeah.
It's not about what we own, but who we become.
Hmm.
And this brings us to another crucial theme that Kardec explores,
Okay.
charity. Now, he's not just talking about throwing money at a problem.
Okay.
He's talking about approaching charity with love, understanding, and a genuine desire to empower others.
Kardec makes a distinction between simply giving handouts
Yeah,
and creating opportunities for self-sufficiency.
right.
True charity, from the Spiritist perspective, involves providing resources, education, and support
Right.
that enable individuals to rise above their circumstances and build a better life for themselves.
It's like that old saying,
Yeah.
give a man a fish and you feed him for a day.
Right.
Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime.
Yeah.
And Kardec even goes a step further, suggesting that wealthy individuals
Uh-huh.
have a special responsibility.
Okay.
They're like ministers of charity, entrusted with distributing God's abundance wisely and thoughtfully. It's not about feeling guilty or obligated.
Right.
It's about recognizing the power we have to make a positive difference in the world.
It's a call to action, inviting us to move beyond token gestures
Yeah.
and truly consider how we can use our resources,
Right.
whether financial or otherwise,
Yeah.
to create lasting positive change.
Right.
Are we investing in projects and organizations that align with our values?
Hmm.
Are we supporting causes that uplift and empower those in need?
It's about aligning our actions with our beliefs and recognizing that even small acts of kindness can have a ripple effect. And you know what else Kardec emphasizes?
What's that?
The importance of detachment.
Okay.
Now, he's not saying we have to renounce all material comforts
Right.
and live like hermits.
Yeah.
It's more about finding that sweet spot
Yeah.
between appreciating what we have without being enslaved by it.
Detachment, in the spiritist sense, is about cultivating an inner sense of freedom.
Right.
From the constant need to acquire more, to chase after the next shiny object.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that true happiness and fulfillment come not from external possessions, but from something much deeper within ourselves.
And I absolutely love this quote from Kardec's source.
Okay.
Know how to be content with little. It's such a powerful reminder that contentment isn't about having everything we want.
Yeah.
It's about appreciating what we already have and finding joy in the simple things. This brings up an interesting question.
What's that?
Could detachment actually be the key to a more fulfilling life,
Right.
regardless of our financial status?
Yeah.
Could it be the secret to finding true peace and happiness amidst the chaos of the material world?
It's certainly a possibility worth exploring.
Yeah.
When we release our grip on material possessions
Right.
and cultivate a sense of inner richness,
Uh-huh.
we open ourselves up to a whole new level of gratitude, purpose, and connection.
Okay.
It's like we're freeing ourselves from the weight of unnecessary baggage, allowing ourselves to travel lighter and experience life more fully.
It's like we're trading in those fleeting possessions for something much more lasting.
Yeah.
Inner peace, wisdom, heart full of love. Those are the riches that no one can ever take away from us.
And that brings us back to that initial question we posed. What do we truly take with us when we transition to the spirit world? It's not the fancy car or the designer handbag.
Right.
It's the essence of who we are.
Yeah.
It's the love we've shared, the kindness we've extended,
Uh,
the impact we've made on the lives of others.
So it seems like wealth, from the spiritist perspective, is more of a test than a reward in itself. It's like we're given these resources,
Yeah.
not just money, but time, talents, opportunities,
Right.
and it's up to us to use them wisely. It's about making choices that align with our values and contribute to our spiritual growth.
It's an opportunity to demonstrate our understanding of true charity,
Yeah.
to practice detachment from material things, and to cultivate those inner qualities that will ultimately enrich our souls.
And it's not just about the super rich, right?
No.
We all have something to offer.
Right.
Regardless of our financial status, we can volunteer our time,
Yeah.
share our skills,
Yeah.
offer a listening ear, or simply extend a helping hand to someone in need.
Absolutely.
Every act of kindness, no matter how small, adds to that spiritual balance sheet.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected
Yeah.
and our actions have a ripple effect that extends far beyond ourselves.
Right.
Every choice we make, every thought we entertain, every interaction we have, it all contributes to the kind of spiritual legacy we're creating.
Wow. This has been an incredibly thought-provoking deep dive. We've explored some really profound ideas about wealth, spirituality, and what truly matters in life. I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on how to approach my own journey.
It's been a pleasure exploring these concepts with you.
Yeah.
And perhaps the most important question to lead you with is this.
Okay.
If you were to take stock of your own talents today, what would your balance sheet reveal? Are you investing your resources wisely?
Right.
Are you using your gifts to create a life of meaning and purpose, both for yourself and for others?
That's a question worth pondering, for sure. And I hope this deep dive has inspired you to reflect on your own values and how you're using your resources, both material and spiritual. Remember, true wealth isn't measured in dollars and cents.
Hello.
It's measured in the richness of your soul. Thanks for joining us on this journey, and keep diving deep.